Hey class, welcome back to Doodling with Purpose, your week-by-week Sunday morning, although you could really watch it anytime, but if you're following along live when these videos are being posted, they're posted on Sunday mornings. Alright, either way, Doodling with Purpose. Hieroglyphics. Ready to jump in? Let's do it. Lesson 107. And a quick review of the last few weeks for both returning students and new students. We've been looking at pronunciation in linking them with the actual glyphs, as opposed to saying that's A, that's also A, but there's differences. So this first A with the sort of comma sign over it, so this is represented, as we've done since lesson 101, so for new students as well, as a vulture, and it's pronounced like the ah in father, ah. So it's an ah in the back of the throat. Now, if you have the same English letter A but with a reversed comma, this is going to be represented by a different hieroglyph, which is the arm, or the outstretched hand, if you will. This is the simplified form. And this is pronounced more like or bottle, like the Cockney bottle, father, palm. I know it's not that different, but in Egyptian it sure is. D is next, and the standard D, the English D, is represented by the hand. But then the other D with the line under it is represented by the snake, and this is more ledge, like a J. G represented by the jar stand with the negative space. This is a hard G, like goat, not gin. So there's no J sound. H, we've hit a couple of those, and we spent a whole lesson just on H 2 weeks ago. So there's 4 different H's and 4 different ways to pronounce them. So the regular H is the house plan, like help, huh, or hat, like, just a regular English H. Next, we have the flax, which is a h in the back of the throat, like a ha in the back of the throat, but not truly kind of Hebrewic. Then we have the H with the sort of smiley face under it, which is represented by the hieroglyph of the placenta, and this is a k, like lock or nightlick, my last name, like Loch Ness, so a k, like a hard K with an H. And then finally we have an H with the dash under it, and this is the pronunciation key for another H sound, much more like a Q, and it's shown in hieroglyphs by the stomach and tail, and this is that hard K H sound. So it's kind of like a Bach, like the composer. All right, now last up we have the K, the proper K glyph. So you've got the basket with a handle, which is represented by, which is the K, and that is like a hard K, like kid, as opposed to Bach. I know they sound very similar, but Egyptian just delinerates. Finally, we have the hill, or what I call the Queen's Hill, because the hill is a K, but it's much more of a Q K sound. So here we have a qu, as opposed to a k. So you can hear more of a difference there. I know it's tough because English doesn't have all these sounds, or at least it does, but they get represented by the same letter. English is very confusing. I also threw in the foot, which is B. That's just a B. So here you might want to freeze frame this or pause, write these down. So here are all the actual, while they're the letters, this is the pronunciation. Your ahs, your ahas, your d, your j, your g, h, k, and k. I know, it's weird. In English, it almost sounds the same to an English ear, or an ear used to hearing Anglophone. But in Egyptian, these sounds were standard, and it's very interesting studying linguistics, how sounds can appear in one language and not in another. Which brings us exactly to L. There's no L in hieroglyphics. It was not available. They had no L. See, they had all those different versions of H and A and J and D, but no L. L had to be invented because of this guy. Okay, you're probably like, wait, how is that a guy? That's just a bunch of, a bird, lion, basket, squiggly line. Okay, does this help? So drawing a line around a bunch of hieroglyphs signifies something very important, that it's a name, a proper name. This was actually key to solving hieroglyphics, and a lot of times it makes it easier to read. So anytime you're in a tomb or an Egyptian museum or just on the internet looking at hieroglyphics, when you see glyphs circled in a big oval like that, you're looking at the name of either a king, a queen, a mayor, a governor, someone very important. Maybe even, the guy who stocks the wine in the bar. I don't know. But yes, if you were a person of importance in ancient Egypt and you were being written about on a wall or on papyrus, your name would be circled. And that would indicate you were looking at a proper noun and an actual person's name. probably similar to how you've seen it like mall and swap meets. They have those things where they'll put your name on in hieroglyphics and give you a necklace. That's a cartouche. So this is making yourself a royal Egyptian person. This was also, again, this is what was on the Rosetta Stone, and how Champollion was able to solve it was by figuring out the cartouches were names. They are called cartouches, by the way, because the French soldiers in 1800, they looked like their bullets. This was a bullet, circa 1805-ish. So that's about the time they were in Egypt. All right, so back to our cartouche. So here's how to read it, which again is we're reading into the animals' faces, and we're going left to right, up to down. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, basket, 5, back up to the papyrus, and so forth, all the way to 9. So 1, we've got A. Second one, we've got our lion, which is L, which had to be created. Then we have K, then T, then a Z, TZ, T, the lock. Then we have number 5, the I, number 6, water sign, the N, number 7, the hand, which is D, and 8, the mouth, R, and then 9, again, the bolt, which is TZ. So that full word is putting all the letters together is Alexander's, which, if you have an Egyptian accent or can figure out based on what was going on in history at this time, well, this is Alexander. This is the way you would write Alexander in Egyptian hieroglyphs, noting there are no vowels, so they have to be clever with the way they use consonant and two consonant words. And because there was no L, the lion had to be created for Alexander the Great, this guy. He caused the Egyptians to add a letter to their alphabet in the form of the lion. So let's look at his cartouche in a vertical, which is more common. So again, by drawing a circle around it, it makes it easier to identify, and you don't get overwhelmed by all the glyphs. And you're going to read it same way, into the animal's face, left to right, up to down. So you've got vulture, lion, basket, door lock, papyrus, water sign, hand, mouth, door lock, which again would be Alexander the Great. Next to that is another cartouche, this one, Ptolemy. So take a look at this, and let's run through it how this spells Ptolemy. And Ptolemy was one of Alexander the Great's generals when his empire was broken up after he died, early age. Ptolemy took over Egypt, and it became a Greek rule over Egypt for a whole dynasty, and that's where Ptolemy comes from. He's kind of Alexander's second in command. All right, so Ptolemy. So we have, again, we're going to read them left to right and up to down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, ending on the bolt of cloth. So 1, we have the P. 2, we have the loaf or hill for T. 3, we have the lasso, which is an sound, or wa or sound. Now we have that lion, that pesky lion, the L that had to get created. Now we have ma, the stand. And then we have y, which is a Y with the 2 papyruses, and then the S for the bolt of cloth. So that's going to spell out Ptolemy. So again, you can see how it's not exactly the word Ptolemy as we would say in English, but Ptolemies. It helps find a way to get these proper names into Egyptian without vowels, and now with an L being needed. All right, so here's the last one for you, and this is going to be your homework this week. So again, I will go ahead and circle it because it makes groups of glyphs much easier to read as a cartouche. So pause this, rewrite these glyphs, and even if you're a new student, we've gone over enough of these since lesson 101 that you should be able to translate this. So give it a shot. Let me know in the comments what name this is, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. All right, let me know. Again, any questions, just leave them in the comments, and I will be sure to answer. All right, thank you so much for watching. Do pass this on if you've enjoyed it, and a shout out to Tyler, by the way, who is the brother of a podcaster. I was on the Sergeant Slaughter podcast this week, and he said his brother Tyler watches this. So hey, Tyler. All right, hope you all enjoy, and see you guys next week. Class dismissed.